All right, guys, now I'm going to cover some in-place mass modeling. When we've been doing it in the past, we've been doing it through this component model in place. And you'll see that, just as you're kind of gotten used to, you have a series of, um, of types of modeling that are here. And then you also have void forms, the same toolkit for void. And you, while it works pretty well, you're kind of don't have a lot of as much flexibility as you probably typically want. So if I'm just creating a rectangle, then this is great. But if I really want to do create a slope form or something like that, I've got to work a lot harder. Like basically, I have to design a wedge that voids out part of this. And so in some cases, it's somewhat limiting. So I'm going to show you something new. So what we're going to do is just start a new project. I'm going to massing and site, and then this in-place mass. So it's a different way of modeling. And you can see right off the bat in this image that it's a lot more complexity can be built into your types of models. So we're just going to start using that as a tool. It doesn't mean that you don't use the other one. The other one is perfectly great for some things. But when specifically we're going to start diagramming your designs, I want to be able to have a lot more freedom and flexibility. So you initially get in here and you're going, well, I kind of don't have as many tools. Where's the extrude? Where's the, revolve? Well, they're kind of here. They're just a little different. So essentially, you've got to think about what is it that I'm trying to achieve and how to get there. So it's going to take a little bit of practice on your part, but as soon as you do, you kind of get a hang of it. You'll see kind of how brilliant it is. So when you start drawing, and I'm just going to start, kind of drawing here on this in the 3D mode. I'm just going to throw out a few lines, say like that. Somehow that's the shape. And when I select it, you can see that it's not one line. It's actually more like a polyline. So it's like one, it's all connected. So then I'm going to go up here to create a solid form. And you can see what it does there is that it provides. All right, so now we've made the extrusion. Now you notice a couple of things off the bat. So I have control over as I select through the lines. I can tab through and I can get to also the planes. And so let's just see what happens. So if I want to move that plane, you can see that the rest of the object kind of moved with it. So if that was the idea, then I hit it, nailed it. Now if I move just a line, again we're going to swing around this, you can see that everything kind of moved with it. You can also then grab a point. Again, if you don't see those things kind of immediately show up, you can just tab through and get to them. So this kind of already gives me a lot more possibilities than what you originally have. Now, the cool thing also about mass is that, say, that was the kind of end result that I really wanted, is that you have a lot of tools such as wall by face that you can pick from. Now, we haven't gotten into that, but you can see from that, what you do is you create a mass, which is what we have, even though that's a extruded polyline, it's still a mass. And I can go in and I can go, okay, I want to assign the generic wall to that. And so maybe it'd be even better if we think I'm making multiples. All right, that's not really what I want to do. Okay, select that wall, and let's just make it something that's a little bit more. Okay, and we go to shaded, and we can see that that has been created. Now the mass is still there, right? And I can go and I can assign each one of these walls, a different, oof, just lost something. I can assign each one of these walls a different wall by face, or I can keep on going with the same one. So maybe this is generic and that one's that. And then I can also then go back and eventually I can grab that and see if I can tab through selections. Okay, here's just the mass, and I think I should be able to tell that mass to disappear. And so if I go up here to massing side, I can go show mass and turn it off. So it's still there. Now the interesting thing, and I'm not actually sure what interesting, yeah, will happen. Edit in place. Let's just move this point up and finish mass. I was kind of hoping this would update. Let me select that. Update to face. Oh, and there you go. It did. So anyway, it could be a really cool way of going about your kind of modeling. So let's just go into a few more things. So again, just delete these walls. We need them. Okay, we'll edit in place. All right, so the other things that you can do, if we just do a rectangle and we take that rectangle and decide to extrude it. So we're going to solid form. It did that. Perfect. And realize that you have these parameters that you can adjust. So if, say, we wanted that bigger and we want it to be very specific, we can just type in 50 and it works. All right, so we still have all the same controls. We can kind of do a few things, all things, move things down. We can still assign. Once we get done with this, we can go in, we can assign various things, such as even roof by face. Don't know if, yeah, floor by face and whatnot, and wall by face. So we still have that as our possibilities. It's all pretty cool. In fact, I'm just going to get rid of that. So now let's talk about like what's the next level of complexity. Not only can we kind of model or move these various lines to get something very unique, but then we can start to model more things into this. So you see the set working plane. We can always set the various reference planes that we already have. So east, west, level 1, level 2. Apparently there's a reference point. But we can also, as we start to draw, say we're going to draw a circle, you can see that we have two things that are available to us. We can draw, see if we have this one, draw on face. So what that allows you to do is you can see that as I'm rolling over it, it's kind of highlighting the face that I can draw on. And then, or we can do this one, which is draw on work plane. So there, if I've established a specific work plane, so set level 2, say, then it will draw automatically on that. So here, if I'm setting this up to be level 2, and then I say draw on work plane, wherever I draw will be on wherever that level 2 is. So this happens to be below kind of where I'm doing. I really like using this draw on face because it's kind of, I can pretty easily move around and figure out kind of what I'm doing. Now, to do that precisely is a little bit more tricky, but I think for right now, I'm just demoing, so it's all good. So say something like that. I have those two things. Let's see what it kind of does. If we select those two objects and then we go, let's try a void form. We can see immediately what it does is it starts to creates a blend between those because there are two closed shapes that were set apart, and that allowed it to blend. And I can still modify this within reason as long as it doesn't somehow change the geometry of that void. I can still modify, the rest of the parent form, or I guess that's probably the best way of describing this. And I still have all the possibilities of using the walls and whatnot. So the other thing that's pretty cool is that you can do floor by face, or I'm going to say you can start to create floors. Forget how you do that. Let's see. Okay, so what I've had to do is just get the model that I was creating, with various floors actually cutting through it. So that wasn't really happened. So the various levels now have been defined, and what I can do is I can mask floor, and I can tell it which one of these levels I want to be cut through this object. So you can start to see that now I have predetermined floors that go through this complex shape. So now this can really be kind of informative as I start to rationalize perhaps this mass, and how I might use it architecturally. All right, that was a lot. There are a couple other things I wanted to show you before we end this video. I think that, and realize that, yes, I get it. This is at building scale, and so it's, is it really relevant right now in a coffee shop that, is not huge? Yes, the answer is yes. Maybe not each one of those tools, but the answer to kind of you starting to have the freedom to model exactly how you want to. And then did that be so useful as be able to either assign materiality to it, assign a wall thickness to a complex mass. All those things become, great tools in your design toolbox. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is that you can also define reference planes to help you in your modeling. So if you've got specific definitions that you want to use, you can kind of create those. You have to be in an orthogonal view. If you're in a 3D view and you're trying to set reference planes, well, I suppose I should actually be in placements. Should get in there. Okay, so if I'm in a 3D view and you want to define a plane, you can see that it's grayed out. It doesn't allow you to do a reference plane. But if I'm in an elevation, I can define one. If I'm in, more likely I'm going to be in a plan, I can do it. So I'm going to just assign a few just to show you how you might start to work with this. So I've created 3. I'm going to select them. I'm going to call them out as the first one. That's 1. This is 2. And that is, this is 3. Make sure I got 2 set. 2 is right. Okay, so now, and I want to model, I'm going to go back into my 3D view, and I want to start drawing on something. I need to set up a work plane that I was using. So here, it's going to automatically draw on level 1. But if I replace this with 1, you can see that now I have a working plane. And I can just, and if you can't see it, you can just click this show. Apparently it's already clicked, so I can I don't have to click it. But then I can start to draw, say anything. So in this case, a spline. And if I keep on drawing and I keep on setting, and now I'm going to go to reference plane 2. And I'm going to do it another. Okay. So that's another spline. And if we just keep on rinse and repeat, we'll go ahead and set another work plane. This time we're going to go on 3, and that's there. So now I'm just going to do something maybe like that. Okay, so now I have 3 different splines in space defined by those reference points. I'm going to select them all, and we're going to say create form. And then you see kind of a lofted idea. And so what you would have done in Rhino to loft this, now I'm doing it using the tools and mass in place in Revit. So pretty cool. I do, almost like Grasshopper, I do have control over these. And you can see that as I select the vertices and then manipulate them, that the actual form is changing. So that's pretty cool. It allows me a lot of control to really make this shape exactly what I want. And if I finish this, you can see that I can also like predetermine this and say, hey, I would like that to be a wall, even though it's not in the right orientation. I think it's going to be a great generic 8-inch wall. Let's see if it does it. And there you go. Or, because this is oriented the way it is, it might be smarter that this then becomes a roof. So architectural, it's roof, roof by face. So now it's a roof. Pretty cool. If I go in, and just like we did before, I can go in and I can edit this. Place, select some curves, go, okay, I'm going to select that one. I need that to do that now. Say finish, and then I can update to base. Looks like it did it, although it kept the original one. I must have hit that twice. There you go. So there you go. It updated. So pretty cool. A lot of great stuff there. So don't feel hampered by tools. This mass in place really, I think, gives you a lot of like frees any constraints. So I'm pretty excited.